Tonight, mounting concerns inside the GOP as President Trump bypasses Congress to pay U.S. troops amid the government shutdown. Welcome back to the Evening Update. We are now entering the third week of the federal government shutdown, making this one of the longest in history. Republican senators are questioning how the president is funding military pay without congressional approval.
This is a serious situation, and we are taking every precaution. I will have more details later this afternoon.
That's a concern of not just appropriators. It seems broader than that. Senator Susan Collins says she's seeking answers about which funds are being used and which programs will lose out.
My decision on this matter will be based solely on the evidence presented. I will not be swayed by the political rhetoric surrounding this vote.
We've been given two different explanations, but we have asked for the specifics.
The situation in the Gulf is deeply troubling, and we must ensure that the impact on Alaskan fisheries is addressed.
Democrats and Republican appropriators alike now question the legality of Trump's funding move. Breaking news out of the Pentagon this hour as defense spending negotiations continue. We expect an update from the OMB within the next few hours.
These are the decisions that get forced upon you when the government shuts down. Nobody wins.
Good evening. The stalemate in Washington has officially triggered a government shutdown, closing federal buildings and furloughing thousands of workers. Behind closed doors, senators from both parties are demanding legal clarity from the White House.
The Office of Management and Budget, or OMB, is the largest component of the executive office, tasked with implementing the president's vision.
Typically, any fund reprogramming requires congressional approval before implementation.
Reprogramming of federal funds must be approved by Congress, State U.S. Code 31, ASHA 1512.
Despite the ongoing shutdown, I want to be clear. Our commitment for the brave men and women of our armed forces is unwavering. You will receive your payment on time.
The former president posted this message on Truth Social moments ago, writing, "I am using my authority as commander-in-chief to get our troops PA'd on Oct 15th. The Pentagon identified $8 billion in unspent research and testing funds to cover troop salaries.
I do not know what legal authority the president is relying on.
Our analysis today focuses on the flow of research funds. As you can see, the money moves from research directly into defense. As the shutdown enters its third week, the legal and financial implications are far from resolved. And now to California, new details after a Marine live fire round struck a patrol car near Camp Pendleton during the Corps' 250th anniversary event. Welcome back. We begin tonight with an exclusive look at the critical training operations underway at Marine Corps Base Camp Pendleton. The Marine Corps concluded its live fire exercises today at the field, demonstrating the new M777 howitzer's capabilities. As you can see behind me, a massive plume of smoke is rising from the Interstate 5 near Camp Pendleton. We are monitoring the situation closely. Authorities are still investigating the source of the projectile that struck this CHP cruiser earlier this morning on the I-5.
We heard what sounded like pebbles falling, then realized it was metal debris.
It left a small dent and scratch on the hood, and thankfully, no one was hurt.
We begin tonight with the latest on the I-5 investigation. As you can see, state troopers are conducting a meticulous sweep of the freeway for debris. All lit fire protocols are now under review. The freeway has been reopened.
It is my distinct privilege to celebrate the 249th anniversary of the United States Marine Corps. Your service.
The Pentagon confirms the round detonated midair roughly 3/4 of a mile south of Las Pulgas Road. According to this California Highway Patrol report, the device detonated midair directly over Interstate 5. No injuries were reported, but investigators recovered small metal fragments 1 to 2 inches long. We can now confirm the drills were a success. Two ongoing developments tonight, one focused on safety reforms, the other on fiscal transparency, both shaping how leadership responds in times of uncertainty.
These incidents highlight growing strain between political decision-making and military operations.
This new bill aims to reallocate funds from the main Pentagon budget, prioritizing research and development and, crucially, We're asking what accounts are being impacted and what authority justifies this shift.
Because we're operating under a continuing resolution, the president does have flexibility, but it's limited.
That argument doesn't hold if there's no explicit authorization from Congress. Besides, it may breach the power of the Purse Clause.
Article I, Section 9. No money shall be drawn from the Treasury, but in consequence of appropriations made by law. Tonight, both Washington and the West Coast face questions about oversight, again, financial and operational. At Camp Pendleton today, Marines are undergoing comprehensive safety inspections of their heavy artillery. We'll have more on the readiness report later in the broadcast.
This section on rapid deployment requires immediate authorization. We can't afford delays.
I understand the urgency, but we need to ensure oversight on the allocation.
The longer the shutdown continues, the more blurred the line between executive power and congressional authority becomes.
From Capitol Hill to Camp Pendleton, tonight's questions center on leadership. Who controls the money and who bears the risk? From Capitol Hill to Camp Pendleton, tonight's questions center on leadership. Who controls the money and who bears the risk? To help us understand the implications, we're joined by two experts, one on defense and one on constitutional law.
From a military perspective, any disruption in pay can undermine morale, training, even if funds are later replenished.
The Constitution clearly assigns spending authority to Congress. Any unilateral action raises a separation of powers issue.
So are we witnessing a precedent that could expand executive financial control beyond Congress?
Potentially, yes, unless Congress reasserts its role through new legislation or judicial review.
Operationally, troops need clarity. Uncertainty at the top always filters down to the field.
So on one side, constitutional balance, on the other, military stability, treaty, both at risk amid the shutdown. The timeline shows the progression. Despite talks between the White House and Congress early on, we are now approaching day 21 with no resolution in sight. Officials are urging calm as the situation develops across the nation.
I love you too. Tell the kids I'm okay.
Good evening from Washington. We are closely monitoring the situation at the White House tonight. The president acted within his authority to ensure national security readiness and troop welfare. But Congress was not consulted. How does the administration justify bypassing the Appropriations Committee? We're confident the legal basis is sound. The priority was protecting military families from financial uncertainty. The White House insists its actions were lawful, while lawmakers demand full transparency on where funds are drawn from. This week, the focus remains on the critical dialogue between Capitol Hill and the Defense Department. This is not just a policy clash, Greg. It's a stress test of how American institutions handle prolonged shutdown.
We have to pass this emergency resolution today. There is no more time for debate.
But this clause right here undermines the entire agreement, Senator. Good evening. We begin tonight with the ongoing budget crisis. This marks shutdown week 3, and Congress is demanding clarity.
At the end of the day, our troops must never become leverage in political negotiations.
Congress must reassert its constitutional role to prevent executive overreach becoming normalized.
As this government shutdown enters a critical phase, both sides face mounting pressure to restore stability. Tonight, as lawmakers debate the new defense bill, we take an aerial look at the illuminated Pentagon. Good morning from Camp Pendleton, where the sun rises on a new day of rigorous training for the 1st Marine Division. The dedication here is truly inspiring. For now, America's troops stand ready, even as Washington stands divided. I'm Dana Harris, where this is Worldview Tonight.